think if you are in Epic, so on my left, Sue owns a club called Ace Fencing Academy, and on my right, Igor, who owns one of the largest Epic club in the country, AFM. I think audience probably know them. At least probably know Igor more than Sue, I guess, because myself and this first time. And I met Sue as well, although we had a prior, conversation. And so it's for us, it's a pleasure that the two candidates can give us their view on the certain things that we are interested in as the community as a whole. And so let me start. So I guess that today let's do a little bit different. Sue, why don't you introduce yourself first? Because I think probably not many people might be just like me and not familiar with you as much as Igor.
Sure. Like Jason said, my name is Sue Mohebi. I am the co-owner of Ace Fencing Academy. I've been fencing for 11 years myself. I started as an athlete, and then later on, I decided that when you realize that you have this passion for this sport and you get excited and you want to share it with the world, and I decided that I should open a fencing club. And I started taking coaching lessons, and I basically started working as a coach at my own club. My son and my daughter both are fencing. Last year, with last season, beginning of the previous season, actually beginning of the current season, when everything happened with the coaching educations and the USA Fencing decided to eliminate the affiliate clubs, I realized that we have been sitting, personally, I felt like I've been kind of being not paying attention to what is happening around me, and without us knowing, bureaucrats are making decisions that are making our jobs harder and are interfering with growth of the sport. And we started, Igor is, he knows, we started a petition and about the coaching educations, about all the affiliate clubs, the membership, increases. So, and then ever since, the fight has been going until now that, like, I feel like the last step I can take is to run for the board in order to continue the fight.
Okay.
That's my story.
All right. Thank you, Sue. I guess is this cover your first question as well? Why you're running for the USFA board? Because that was our first question. Okay. All right. Okay. So yeah, Igor, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about why you're running for the board?
Okay, so my name is Igor, and I and Irina, we founded AFM, Academy of Fencing Masters, in Northern California. We have 2 locations right now, and we did it 11 years ago, and since then it became to be one of the largest clubs in numbers, but also I think very successful. We developed fencers from a very young age, as young as 6.5, 7, and who went all the way to become to be national champions as well as world champions this year. And Jason, you've been in the same world championship, so congratulations to you as well. But one of our fencers that was homegrown from age 8 became to be world champion and world #1 in juniors. And she's starting to do strides in senior circle as well. So during this time, first of all, I came from a tech world. In the past, I founded my own company, tech company, which I sold, and after 3 years, I could do what I love, and it is establish a fencing club, which I think, which was fencing was my sport when I was young, and it became to be sport of my whole family. And it's a labor of my passion and my love. I seen fencing does fantastic things for people in their lives. Definitely, it's applied to me, and I think fencing is a sport that can really enrich people in every aspect of the life. There will be people that want to reach high goals of national, international success, but there will be people that want to fence because they love it. And I think first of all, that's what makes it. That's why I love the sport. It enriches people and makes them better in every aspect, especially kids. And the reason I've gone for the board is because I think USA fencing did a tremendous growth in the last 2.5 decades, since the beginning of this century. It went from being unknown, and I saw that nobody, like 30 years ago, nobody even knew American fencers. Like every time anyone that went to America to competition and was meeting American fencer was kind of saying, okay, I have a free pass to the next round. Now every time they see American fencers, they say, okay, that's something that is very hard. And these are the major contenders. So the sport grew internationally. The sport grew domestically. It became to be when I opened the club, people had no idea what fencing is. I would say 95% of people that came to my club 11 years ago had no idea that that fencing exists in the United States. They had no idea what it is. And today, I would say 99% that step in a club, new parents, they know it. So the fencing became to be more popular. And it's a lot of growth, but I think the organization itself, the USA Fencing, that should march us forward, does not fully recognize this. And instead, in my opinion, in many cases, we can do better. We can do better with a lot of aspects. And my hope is to help the organization to do better job, to bring the knowledge from parents like myself and like parents that are in a club and other people. There are shared things. To bring the knowledge of coaches, to help organizations understand the whole spectrum. So I believe that I have this knowledge. I believe that I have this passion, the desire to contribute to the fencing and to help USA Fencing to get to the next level. So last 25 years has been a huge success in my opinion. So I want to help the organization to build on this for the next 25 years. So I will not be on a board for 25 years, but at least I can help to put a foundation in it. And that's my major objective.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Igor. So now I wanted to let everyone know the format for today, although that we kind of started, but because the candidates already getting to the first question, we have 10 preset questions, pre-compiled questions. We ask for each of shortlisted candidate to provide their feedback, their response. And if the audience has any questions, and you are welcome to type into the chat box, and I will have the chat box open, and so you can ask. Then we can have the candidates answer after the pre-compiled question is complete. Okay, so with that being said, let me move on to the second question that in our pre-compiled questions list, which is, in your view, what are the areas that USA fencing needs the most changes and improvements? So, Sue, do you want to start on this also?
Sure. Well, like Igor said, USA Fencing has made a lot of improvements over the past 25 years. Like we have had, many before this current people that are running it. Before this, we had many the successful stories in saber and foil. Ibtihaj Muhammad, the Hurley sisters, Cat Holmes, they all belong to eras before this current organization. Like, I mean, the people who are running it, let's say. So at the moment, and if we could follow that and build upon it, I think it would take us to better places. Unfortunately, I feel like the current people in the office, they are putting so many obstacles in the path of our progress and the growth of the sport. What I think that they can do, that we can do better at the moment, is that we need more fencers, people who are involved in fencing in the office, because the way they make decisions at the moment shows that they don't know anything about how a club functions, and how to run the tournaments. I'm not saying that they do a bad job, but it's not as good as it can be. They can also provide clubs and coaches with more help that they don't. They are basically taking away as much as they can, trying to make money come to the office instead of it being staying at the clubs and being spent on the sport, on the field actually. And I feel like at the moment they are treating us with disrespect. At any role you're playing in the sport, you're a coach, club owner, referee, fencer. We are being all targeted as money makers for the office. We are the target audience for the sponsors, that they keep saying that, oh, we have this company as a sponsor, we have that company as a sponsor. They're just looking at us as the market. So, and they're not providing us with what we need in order to help the sport grow. So these are the changes I think it would be good to make.
Okay. Well, I guess that from what I heard is more on the financial management for the USA fencing, for the respect, and also that providing more resources to support all the stakeholders in the fencing community, right? That's the major issues that we see today. Okay. Yes. All right. Sounds good. So, Igor?
So I think one of the things that I believe USA fencing needs to address is, I would call it, depolitize the organization, kind of move away from a politics, and it's actually like and it's and in these terms I say it's overall politics, not only internal. Of course, in every organization there are politics, but also like external. For example, things for me which kind of contradicts the inclusivity statement is that we have chosen to compete only in certain states, certain places which are uh, kind of meet some criteria, which is political. And again, everybody has different political views, and we should respect them. But let's say this state doesn't support this political agenda. Why it has to do anything with USA fencing? It's one thing that for me it's very unclear, because in a sense we kind of say that residents of these states, they kind of do not play the same role as residents in different states. So first of all, I think we need to really depolitize the organization, but there are a lot of things that I think we need to help the organization to improve. I think a better connection between a membership and the organization, better understanding of the needs. So simple examples, and we can talk about many of them, but Y10, Y12, that basically was the last straw for me when somebody wanted to take it off the national circuit, and I think it was a wrong idea. But it's clearly because people that were running this organization or were part of decision-making process, or even kind of entertain this idea, in my opinion, a bit detached from the reality of the clubs, from the reality of parents. Another thing, in a tournament organization, which we had a lot of success recently, but with kind of moving the agenda forward. But several areas were misaddressed, like competition of teams in that were coinciding with on the same day with individual events in the same weapon gender. And it's for different age groups, from juniors to even seniors, and sorry, not seniors, to veterans, which makes it unfair to some. So this sort of things, and definitely, I think on the financial aspect, as a father, and when I need to go to competition, to national competition, it's very expensive, right? So we need to understand how we can minimize the cost of participating in tournaments and not increase. And minimize the cost means first several things. Not only go to these specific areas, but maybe we should expand. And it's based on my previous comment of why we exclude some cities. Second is that better schedule. So if I have like 3 consecutive days, 3 events, I would like to have them in 3 consecutive days. So my children and I will miss less school or work, and it will cost less to travel, things like that. So like these are things, and of course the fees themselves are very, very high. So we need to understand how we can manage it better. What are the overheads that maybe we're paying now, but maybe we can improve. So I think we need to look very well at financial opportunities. Then the biggest drive of the sport is NCAA. And I don't know. I saw from time to time we can see that there are some teams that happen, but in my last 11 years when I pay attention to collegiate opportunity, I think there are very few that are added. That's what my feeling. I don't see like a new Division One school opening. But I think these are a very, very important opportunity for the sport growth because these are areas, these are something that we can sell. And the next one is United States fencing is a youth sport, which is great because it's a growth. But we have like veteran and adult fencing, but it's very small. I think on international level, we definitely need to increase our senior opportunities. I don't know how. Obviously, in other countries, there are like governmental agencies that participate, but we might think what possible in USA as well. So these are kind of areas that I think USA fencing should address, and I hope be able to contribute to this, at least partially.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Just to recap that, you talk about multiple things, right? You start talking about the strong political preference from the USFA today, especially from several or some USFA officials that makes the USFA policy very political, tied to the domestic political debate. The second thing you're talking about their disconnect with the reality that we're trying to attempt to removing the Y10, Y12 from the national tournaments, right? Then you talk about financial efficiency that the USA fencing that has not been performed well, then has not been increased the support for the fencers, right? Then you talk about NCAA, correct? So these are the areas that you see.
And collegiate and fencing opportunity beyond the college. Longevity
Okay,
of fencing.
yes. Yeah. To increase the varsity team. Very good. Okay, all right. So I know that this is more like a general side of the things. So because once we go down deeper and we have some more concrete questions. So let's move on. The third question. In your view, what is USA Fencing's role in fencing as an organization? So what are the most important stakeholders in the fencing circle and why? So let's still go ahead, Sue. Do you want to answer first?
Sure. The way I see our community, it's very like it's a simple geometrical thing. I see us as a triangle with students, parents, and coaches on each side, on each point. And there is a circle surrounding this triangle, which is the USA fencing. The role of USA fencing is to support us, to support the triangle, and let us work and work on growing the sport. For me to pass the knowledge to the student, for the student to have the opportunity to go to tournaments, to have a club to fence in, and to go to tournaments, have the platform to get to the national tournaments and international tournaments. And the parents, obviously, parents are the ones that are basically carrying the financial burden. So the role of USA Fencing should be obviously the support, providing a stable platform for all of us, and help us basically have the platform to push forward. Also, what I like to what I like to, but in this whole, out of all the stakeholders, coaches, parents, clubs, and the students, and referees, out of all of these, I would say the students are the most important stakeholders, because without them, without a student who wants to learn, there's nothing for me to pass, that there's nothing for me to do. I need to have that passionate student come to the club wanting to learn, and then we get to work.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sue. So Igor, what's your take on this?
So first of all, I think USA Fencing did an excellent job in helping to develop the sport and developing the sport to where we are today. I think we cannot say that it's not, because I think it was the way that it grew and the way that it is working now. It's fantastic. So I think the organization did an excellent job, and I think we need to help it to go to the even better. As I said, we did a fantastic job in the last 25 years. We can help it to do more. So the role of organization is to facilitate this growth and to facilitate this momentum to move forward. And I think that's one of the things that why I want to join. It's to help to take part in it. Obviously, the stakeholders, like the fencers, the clubs, the parents, the coaches, these constituents that help growing the fencing. One of the strengths of USA Fencing was the grassroots movement. So the coaches came, opened the clubs, developed the fencers, and in a lot of cases, the USA Fencing was helping to support it. At least didn't disturb this. I think we need to make sure that USA Fencing continues to support these developments, and in any area where we think this might disturb and prevent the growth. And examples are, as I said before, like Y10, Y12, clearly cancellation of Y10, Y12, clearly kind of put the sticks in the wheels of forward movement. So these kind of things we should all increasing fees do not help to increase the membership, do not help coaches as well. So there are a lot of things that we can do better. And I think that the role of USA Fencing is to understand this well, which I think it does, but we need to understand it better, and to support this. So I think I'm a big proponent of trying to understand how we can do things better, because at the end of the day, it's undeniable that the growth was great, and if we depolitize the organization and make it more forward with what really helps the organization to grow, I think that's will be a very good solution.
Okay, all right, thank you, Igor. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. It's this question has been becoming fairly political in the nation, although this should not be. It is about transgender. So, what is your view on the transgender female athletes who were biological male at birth competing in the women's category in tournaments? Sue, would you like to comment on this?
Sure. The science behind the transgender athletes competing in, well, let's say transgender female women competing in women tournaments. It's very, I would say it's in infancy, and it has not developed enough. What we have on hand at the moment indicates that there are physical advantages for someone who has gone through puberty as a male. So what we have says that, even though like USA Fencing likes to say that there is not enough evidence, there is. Everything that we have says that a person who has gone through puberty as a male has physical advantage over a female. Height, muscle mass, these are all scientifically proven. So I would say we need, before we start, implementing policies, I think we should slow down and wait for research to develop, and basically go from there. There shouldn't be any rush to change policies. From dawn of time, there were females and women and men were separated in sports. So I think we should stay with that until we have more evidence that there is no physical advantage. At the end of, I will tell you that I want everyone, and this is my belief, I want everyone, and everyone deserves to be happy in their skin. But not in a way that you're stepping over half of the population's rights. Not with that price, I would say. And also, I would think that the people who should be involved in this decision making should be two groups: women and transgender women.
Okay. All right. I guess that the takeaway is that your position on this, that we should keep the way it has been there for almost 100 years, when women are different and the sports are separated in separate category, until we could find any convincing evidence that the transgender woman is no different than the biological woman in the future, right?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Igor, what's your take on this?
It's exactly the same. Last year, when I had the USA USA fencing debate of both candidates, that's what I said. And you eloquently summarized it. So that's my position as well.
Okay. So Igor, you concur on Sue's position, and keep the transgender, keep the way that the category was, and until we find more evidence. So what is your, now I'm saying this
One thing that is very important, and the reason that it's political, I think Sue will, because people like to take things out of context. And immediately both Sue and I, or whoever says the statement, will be labeled as anti-transgenders.
Yes, we shall be.
It's not anti-transgender, absolutely not. And I think I told it last time, I'm saying this now, and I continue to say it loud. A person that decided, first of all, everybody has their own right, and second, it's most important is that any person that takes brave decisions in their lives, and it's not easy for many, many reasons. They deserve a very utmost respect from us. So very important that the position on trans women on competing in women's categories does not reflect any views on transgender in general. And that's I want to emphasize this, because that's people take it out of context, and I have seen it many, many, many times. We are discussing only as one aspect of unfair advantage in competition that is not otherwise proven that it's not existing.
Thank you, Igor. I thank you. Very well said. I agree with exactly every word he said. It is not about transgenders, but it's just about the competition. That's all.
Okay, so I think your view, both you support that we should have the inclusivity that transgender should be able to participate in the sports. They should come to a club, they can come to a club, they can practice, get friends with anybody they want to. Now, come to the tournament, that's a different story, because we already have preset the categories, and we should respect that, keep that until we can find anything prove otherwise in the future. I think, so you also brought up a better point that this apparently should be the voice of women and transgender women, right? So I guess that most of the men should not be, not the primary group who comes to make this call.
Yes, to make the call. Of course, everybody is, allowed to have their opinion, but I think they should let the two groups make that decision, come up with the solution.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. So the next question, I guess you guys briefly touched on this. So is that, what is your view on USA fencing to be a platform to promote political agenda? Example will be prioritizing cities for tournaments that supports women's abortion rights, or could be someday that in the future that somebody says that, okay, we cannot host the tournament or national tournament in the state or in the cities called the sanctioned cities, right? If you take too many illegal immigrants, then we cannot go there, right? So should USFA implement policies with strong political preferences? Why or why not? Again, I think Sue, you always start first, and then Igor can come.
All right. Igor mentioned this a couple of times. I also agree with that. USA fencing should not be involved in politics. If you look at the history, there are a few events that brings everyone together, unites people, and sports is one of them. I don't think any sport event should be political. We're 50 states. We come from different political views. At the end of the day, we come together to share our passion for the sport, to compete, to take lessons, to fence. And that's that. It should not matter what I think or what you think, or our political views should be different. And that goes also against inclusivity. We are excluding certain parts of the country for holding national tournaments because they have different views than the rest of the country, and that is not right. It should not be.
Okay, all right, Igor.
I
would you comment?
To add to what Sue said, and I think I touched it. That's my exact view. I think in general, and again, we can be totally different political views, but I think we are citizens of the same country. We are residents of the same country, and the only consideration, in my opinion, should be the logistical issues of hosting a tournament in any place, and that's the only consideration that should be taken.
Let me
Yes.
add on that. When you say logistics, what about safety? Is safety a concern? Should safety be a concern
Safety
for
is
the
part of logistical, right? Safety is part, for me, that's part of logistics. If the crime rate in a specific city is way above norm, that's obviously the city should not be considered. Not because it's the city political views are that on that, but because it's unsafe. I personally don't also like to have a big tournament in Las Vegas. Not because I don't like Las Vegas, I love to go there, but I think there are a lot of things that little kids should not be exposed in masses, for example.
Right.
Just like, yes, so safety is definitely something, something is part, for me, it's part of logistical issue aspect.
Okay. I think you mentioned Vegas, Las Vegas. I personally have not seen a tournament in Las Vegas. I think you talk about Atlantic City then in this case. This is coming up.
So, I've been in Atlantic City once in my life, and it was in 1994. So I enjoyed it. It was first time when I went to casino in my life in 1994. I had good memories, but I do not recall it other than that. So I had so I don't know what about it in Las Vegas. It's because it's very close. I've been many times, and I love the city. I love the entertainment that it provides. But I also exposed to a lot of things that are not something that I want to have little kids to witness.
Understood.
Yeah,
So,
you
but
can't
if
walk
you
in the
like,
streets without seeing something that is not appropriate for young kids.
yeah. So if Atlantic City is the same as Vegas, which I don't know, I just don't remember it. It was 1994. Then probably it's not a good place, but I just don't know.
Right. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. I sometimes I just, drill down a little bit so that, I wanted to clarify and have you to clarify your points. So forgive me if I'm become a little bit pushy on driving things down,
Okay.
but yeah, I guess it will be helping the community to understand your true stance. So next one, next question. Um, It's about referee. So, well, it's related to referee. Do you see the growing tensions between the referees on one side and the fencers, the parents and coaches on the other side in the tournaments? Basically, do you see the tensions between these two groups? If so, what do you think the reasons might be, and what do you plan to change that? Sue?
Yeah. So this tension has always been there, and I don't know if it's growing or not, but there's always like disagreements in certain calls, especially if in foil and saber. In epee is not as much, but it has always been there because of the different roles we play. I think it will be good if USA Fencing would make the responsible roles of each party involved more clear, and so they know what would be the consequence of certain action clearly. The refs always have had the solution, the black card to use. There is also obviously there is the consequence of once they issue a black card, a ball starts rolling, and there are steps to be taken. So it's not an easy call, which is good, I would say. So otherwise, black cards will be everywhere. But I think, if we make we make the roles more clear, and so the people don't have to guess where the limit of pushing is, and also working on clearing the rules, and also making the environment in a way that everybody's confident that the refs are calling the score correctly, and there are no second intentions involved, would be good. And I would say that it would be good to it is mostly needed, I would say, for our younger fencers to have a better sportsmanship modeled for them.
Okay. Okay. So Sue, you talk about you would like USA Fencing to make the role more clear. Can you clarify on this point? Because I am not 100% sure. So you are saying that you want USA Fencing to define a referee, what referees can do and cannot do, or you want them to define exactly under what circumstances that they are able to issue certain cards? Because I believe those are the things that defined in the handbook or USFA rulebook already. So can you expand a little bit on what do you think, what do you mean by clarify the rule?
All right. So on the strip, two fencers are fencing. There is a ref, there are coaches, there are family members watching. The coach should know how far they have the right to go. How well, what are the actions that are okay for them to do. The fencer should know that, okay, I might disagree with the call, and then what are the tools that each person has in order to protect themselves. So the fencer knows that, okay, I can object to a call, and I can ask the ref or ask for the bouting committee, or like if there is a call that they don't agree on, they can ask the bouting committee to to come. Obviously, like not every bout is videoed. The coaches, okay, can I get into an argument with the other coach, or I mean, all these limits should be clear to everyone, and at the end, what the ref calls is what goes. And if and the refs have the tool to basically bring the order to the strip. At the same time, like I said, we should know that they should provide more education, make sure the younger the refs get up to speed with their training, so they can basically make the calls right and less controversial, let's say. That's what I mean.
Okay. Okay. All right. All right. So Nicole, what is your take on this?
It's a difficult question. It looks like a simple question, but it's actually difficult. First of all, I never been in any competition in my life, not a single competition where referee didn't make mistake or where coaches didn't notice this mistake. So every competition you go, doesn't matter what kind of competition, even highest level as Olympic Games, Maybe coaches will not protest as loud, but there are always mistakes. So mistake is part of the game, and no referee can guarantee the refereeing will be clear of mistake. It's impossible. We are human, referees are human, and all my kids are refereeing. So and sometimes internally I also ref. So it's a hard job, and it's very demanding, physically and mentally. I think there are several reasons why we have kind of tension recently, and I think most of the tension is because it's kind of becomes to be amplified on social media in a very big terms. And I think my feeling, and I'm not social media person. I don't go to social media. If you can see, you will see that I'm rarely post anything, mostly once a year for my birthday. But I think a lot of things are escalated online versus being de-escalated. And then the feeling when you see one post that is reposted and then reposted by multiple people, you can think that, oh, it's beginning to be very, very bad. So first of all, I think as a community, we need to learn how to de-escalate things. We need to understand that part of any sport will be wrong judgment. So, and it comes to everybody, to referees, how to learn to de-escalate on the strip, to coaches, how to learn to de-escalate on the strip, to parents and to fences. De-escalation, I think, will be much better because it will actually, the next bout will be better for all constituents, even if it's not resulted in a black card. That's first thing. We need to learn how to de-escalate, and USFA fencing should teach us more how to de-escalate as well. And maybe I need to write a post about it as well. That's how my ideas come. The next thing is that I think three things happen. First, we have a lot of referees that need additional refereeing education. We seen many referees that do not understand the rules or do not know how to apply the rules, and it's okay. We need these referees because we cannot have all FA referees in every tournament. So there will be a lot of referees, but we need to understand how we educate and better and provide better training. So I think we need to kind of have much better program for referees development. But I think there are a lot of things that come from also coaches' side. I never saw a coach that comes to a match saying, I want my fencer to lose. There's no such coach. Every coach wants their fencer to win because that's how we measured at our work. And of course, at the end of the day, they win a lot on fencer, but coaches have a lot of stakes, as well as parents. Like we pay tons of money, we fly across the country. So we want our fencers advance beyond the first round, or even at national level, we want them not to be eliminated from the pools. So we need to kind of understand, and I don't know how to do it, if you ask me, but how to tune down the temperature. And again, as a parent, as a coach, as a parent, no, I'm always very cool as a parent, but as a coach, I want my fencers to win. So I will obviously go and comment to the referee that this was a mistake, but I try to do it always in a way that it's immediately de-escalated and it's immediately like, understand, it's your call, and I don't agree with it, but it's your call. and we go on. So I think, and I don't. If you ask me how to do it, I don't know. Like I would not lie. I don't know how to help, except education, how to help parents and coaches also to understand that it's not end of the world. It's part of game to lose, and it should not be taken as deep as possible. So I think, as I told, learning how to de-escalate when we can de-escalate, that should be first priority of everybody, and the organization should kind of put this as a goal for us to learn how to deal it. It should be taught on with every referee that your job is also be de-escalator. That because you don't have stakes in a game. Parents have stakes, fencers have stakes, coaches have stakes. You don't have stakes. So you should be, instead of kind of warming up the atmosphere, learn how to deal as well with coaches, with parents, that, kind of calm them down, say, okay, guys, I understand you are unhappy. That's how I saw the call. If you, I promise I will pay attention more, but that's how I saw, and I will not change the call. Again, there are a lot of techniques that referees need to discredit, but also coaches and parents. We need to understand as coaches and parents that this specific game will not block Harvard. It might block national team, yes, for sure. But it will not block Harvard. It will not block happiness in life. It will not block their development as a human being, even if it's the only child that you want them to be Olympian. So if they not make it to this year, but they're passionate enough, they will make it to the next year. The single call will not change almost anything in life. And I think this part of culture is not there, and I think we need to kind of help to develop this culture organizationally. I think fair fencing should promote this kind of culture, because at the end of the day, we all want to enjoy. We need to understand that it's inevitable. Bad calls, or even good calls that do not meet your desires will happen in every competition, for every coach, for every child, for every fencer, every time. It's part of the job. So if we want to be in the sport, we need to accept this as a reality, but we need to pay attention how this reality will not be escalated to the point which is unbearable. And it's through education, through explanations, through kind of things like that. It's a long answer, but I hope it made some sense, and I promise I'm giving a public commitment to try to think more about this, and try to write a post what I think about it.
Okay, well, you go from your long response. I think my takeaway is primary two wants to talk about is how to de-escalate, especially on the referee side, because referee groups does not have a stake in the game. So they should be the one that help to de-escalate. They will be the primary groups to learn how to de-escalate. The second is the education. The education is on all stakeholders, right? The referees, the parents, the fencers, and also the referees. So
yes, because
I
think referee in a situation when since they don't have a stake in the game, they are kind of moderators, right?
Mhm.
So they
Right.
like a coach can lose, a fencer can lose, a referee can never lose. Like one side of the strip will go home defeated. A referee will stay. So they are in a best position just to calm the spirit down. And I think if it will happen more in a very kind of again in a good manner, in a good, I think it will help already. And it's not that we don't have abusive people. Like abusive people, there are everywhere. Coaches can be abusive, referees can be abusive, fencers can be, parents can be, like it's human nature, right? And we cannot say that fencing is all good people. No, there are some people that you say that more abusive, there are less. But I think for referees, it's easier to keep a neutral position and to be a smart guy in this area to calm down and to help, even if they think that they don't deserve. But definitely we need to address any abuse on a parent of coaches or offenses or parents, because that's definitely 100% not tolerable. And it should be not
Okay.
tolerable.
Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Let me go down there and move on to the next question. What is your opinion on the DI being the official policy of USFA? DI stands for diversity, equity, and inclusion. And the USFA has a I think DI group or DI department for this. So what's your opinion on that? Sue?
Well, the concept is not necessarily, actually it's a great idea when it's and it all depends on how you interpret each one of them. Diversity not necessarily is not a bad thing. 20 years ago, women were not allowed to fence saber. Now they are. So, I would say we are a diverse group of people. You see, people from all walks of life in fencing. You go into a fencing club and you see different people with different backgrounds. So that is great. But when it comes to if you interpret the concept in a way that privileges a group more than the others and basically makes the playing field unlevel for some group, I think that's when it becomes problematic. Is it clear?
Okay. No, I think you made it clear, and I think I got it. I personally got it and understand what you mean there. And the concept is good, and it depends on how the individual interpreted it. And also, it should not be an excuse for one group to have a higher privilege than the rest of groups.
You're right. I can say, if USA Fencing wants to basically, if we keep that as an official policy of USA Fencing, I can see name you so many occasions that USA Fencing has violated violated these, by not holding tournaments in states that are supporting basically they're not supporting abortion. That's exclusion, right? That it violates inclusion, right? Or I can tell you, if you bring in the B belonging, I know so many people that left USA Fencing last season and are planning to leave USA Fencing at the end of this season because of the way they have been treated. So many clubs had to close. So many coaches lost their jobs because of the way USA Fencing treated them. So, there has been so much violation of this. And I think, but that's the thing. The concept is great. It's just that how we interpret it and how we bring it to the game.
Okay. All right. So Igor, what's your take?
So I think fencing is by far the most democratic sport. I think that's kind of the proof of it. The very first Olympic medalist that was in USA history, that wear hijab came from fencing. I think fencing, I'm not familiar with any instance when anyone among every people that I ever communicated with in USA fencing, and by that I mean not only officials, I mean everybody, parents, coaches, referees, fencers. I never saw in my personal experience any even remote hint of not being diverse and inclusive. I think that's my personal experience, and I think that's kind of, for me, it's like if you're a fencer, or if you want to participate in sport in any facility, sport welcomes you. There are obviously different aspects of it which are like it's not affordable to everybody. Yes, but that's a different thing in my opinion. It takes a lot of finances from families. It's different thing. It's not diversity. So in my opinion, the sport is very democratic and very diverse. And since again, for me, American sport was always with saber and AP, and I think for women. So I think, and I see that half of like a so for me, that's the current stage. So I do not know whether we need an office of DEI because I personally never experienced anything other than full diversity and inclusivity and acceptance. So I'm probably the wrong person to answer whether we need. Based on my experience, we're already diverse, but I believe there might be situation which I'm not aware that might require, but I'm not very, I'm not the best person to understand the whole aspect of it. So that's kind of my answer. Probably not a very good
Okay,
political
all
answer,
right.
but that's the way that I feel.
Right. No. We just wanted to find out because you know, we a lot of times we see a lot of people with this title, the DI director, DI department, and DI group leader, and we were just trying to figure out, you know, what, you know, do we really need a DI group first of all, and you know, what's this DI group for, and what's your opinion on to have DI as official policy of a sport organization. So that's where that we wanted to ask the question. We did not say whether we, you know, as the community, we did not say that this is good or bad. We just wanted to find out or ask, you know, the candidates, what's your opinion on this, and how do you think the DI policy, if there is, then how do you think the DI should be implemented? So
So
that's why we asked the question.
my experience in this area is that I never saw any example of opposite, of not inclusivity and diversity, and I hope that's the way it is everywhere.
Okay.
I
All right.
hope there are not examples when people say you are not hired or you're not taken to the position because of that and that. Like,
Okay. Okay, all right, let's move on to the next question. What do you plan to do to help increase the college fencing teams in NCAA? Sue?
So this is a very tricky area, I would say. Like, you know, most colleges usually go for the sports that are basically the money makers, football and basketball. It's very hard to even in, like, you know, in local levels at, high schools and middle schools, it's very hard to start a program if there is not already a background there. So, I really don't have good answer for this, other than I would say that a lot of these, at least the clubs that were there, the collegiate clubs that were functioning in the past, they had to close down because of the ending of the affiliates club program. So many of those went away, and I would say, those clubs were basically the opportunities that could have been turned into varsity programs. I don't have a very good solution for this, unfortunately.
Okay. Well, of course, I mean, it's a difficult thing to do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
we all understand that because we have seen people talk about this many years, and but the reality is the varsity teams has not increased, but actually decreased in the past decade.
Yeah.
So, so that is definitely a tough thing to resolve, and but I guess that's the community's hope, because I would say at least more than half of the communities, I mean, members and families and fencers joined fencing precisely because of that. And precisely because they wanted to fence in a college teams, and to be a tool for them to get into a school that they could not normally go to without this sports. So I think
Right.
it's very important for the community. Um,
One thing I can think of is that basically if the students of a school, if there is enough demand by the students, the schools will look at it. They'll look at to look and see if they can start a program. But otherwise, it's it's a subject that I don't know how to touch.
all right. Okay, Igor, do you have any thought on this?
I never been involved in NCAA fencing, so I frankly, don't know what need to be done to start it. But I think that's not that's something that we need to learn. Personally, if I will be elected, I will try to learn what makes fencing as a sport attractive to NCAA school. What kind of things that are missing for the club to become a varsity team? Whether it's funding, whether it's coaches, whether it's some regulations, or some NCAA regulations or requirements. What the reasons? So I don't know these answers, but I think there are a lot of coaches that know, definitely NCAA coaches, they know. We definitely should tap into this knowledge base. I think coaches will only welcome this opportunity, because especially for coaches that have club but have no university in their area, it's very important because they can do a lot of work together, etc. So I think we should tap into this talent of collegiate coaches, to the athletic directors, and understand what's needed to be done. I don't know yet. I don't want to sound amateur, but there are a lot of people that do. And one of the things that we need to do is to get this expertise and knowledge. As I said, I didn't see a lot of NCAA growth in the last decade. and we kind of are with the same colleges that we were 10 years ago. And we, as a community, need to be better because we are also a big organization. We also need to provide to more families now. We need to attract more families. We need to create more opportunities for kids because, like, let's admit, fencing opportunity in college is a huge draw, and for many families, it's one of few ways to get to this college. So we cannot stay on the numbers of 20 years ago of colleges, but with membership numbers that we have right now, they do not match. We need to help to grow this in order to become better. And by the way, it will be propagated to every area. We have more colleges, we have better fencers. Past high school, we will have much better results at national level and internationally. So it's kind of builds more and more. So I think collegiate sport in USA helped to propel us to the growth both domestically and internationally. And I think we need to find way to improve and increase this.
Okay. I know that both of you looks like that you have not getting to this area more than today. But let me ask you a question. I think that's one of the ideas that many people in our community ask that do you support to have a dedicated NCAA committee within USFA and to have possibly a full-time staff dedicated for this purpose?
Absolutely. That's in my opinion, again, if it will bring 3 more NCAA teams, we already did the job. So I would definitely think that persons that understands the sports, have the connections with the coaches, have connections with athletic directors, with NCAA officials, and can promote it, it will be invaluable for the sport. This is definitely a staff position that I think will be great to have.
Okay. All right. So let's move. Oh, okay. I see there are questions and comments in the in our chat section now, but let me still go over what we already planned and then move on to what people asked. So the next question. USFA has the most enrolling members in history, and the national tournaments have increasing number of participants every year. Yet the costs imposed on the fencers, parents, the clubs are still continuously growing up. And do you have any plan to improve the financial situation of for USFA?
I think I'm going first.
Sure. Sorry. Yeah, I was
Right.
switching.
So, well, yes, USA Fencing has highest number of memberships this year. But you got to understand that if you look at the membership list, you will see a lot of access memberships. The access membership, I don't know if everybody knows what access membership is. When you take your 6-year-old, 7-year-old child to a fencing club, as a club owner, I am supposed to enroll your child in a trial membership, which means that for 3 months, they have 14 days to practice fencing. After the 3 months, I have to ask you to sign up your child for access membership. This child might not necessarily stick with fencing. They might try it for 6 months and they say that, okay, now we want to move on to soccer. We want to move on to some other sport, like 6, 7 years. So there are a lot of access membership at the moment, if you look on the list. So this is why the number of membership is higher. And from what I understand, they were supposed to meet a quota of 40,000, and that's why there were a lot of there were a lot of push on getting everybody to become a member of USA Fencing. There's also, you got to understand that there is also inflation, right? So the price increases, a little bit is the inflation affects that as well. But also there is, I don't think the money is being spent properly. I was actually looking at the budget the other day. So USA Fencing keeps on, if you see the emails, they keep on hiring people, hiring more people every few months. They announce that now we have so and so joining the staff. There used to be, I don't know if you guys remember, there used to be, when you called USA Fencing, Sarah Ross would answer the phone and she would either solve your problem or she would refer you to the person who would solve your problem, and it was done. You were fine. Now you call USA Fencing, they give you 10 different extensions, and you cannot reach anyone after you push that extension. You cannot reach anyone. So they keep on hiring more and more. They spend a lot of money on the coaching education program that was disastrous, and at the end they had to basically, it was money gone to waste. And there were, they had to come up with different solutions, which was not as costly as they did. But there are, so these are the areas that they are losing money. What they can do, I would say, they should work on basically allocating money to make sure that the refs are getting paid properly. Clubs and coaches are getting support to run the programs, and basically, not and the families are not squeezed for money for every step forward. So these are the things that I would be looking into.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sue. Igor, what do you think about this?
I think Sue kind of touched all the right points, and I think definitely, in my opinion, based on my own experience, there are only a handful of people that that I work with, like on a daily basis. So I think these are people that are kind of do the job. Maybe there is some one or two people in the back office that need to support. At the end of the day, it's a big organization, and it does require a lot of IT support and stuff like that, which is necessary. Maybe some membership support, event support, etc. But I do think like a lot of people that are hired, I do not understand their position. I think these are areas that that we need to kind of look whether this is something that propels the organization forward, and if yes, how and why. If not, why then? So I know some people, and I think most of the clubs know and coaches know exactly the same people. These are definitely key personnel. Some additional support staff, definitely key personnel, because they cannot do all this job. If everybody will call Sarah Ross, she's not anymore with the organization, I think. But if everybody will, yeah, she will not be able to handle it, right? So she definitely will need to have some support staff, or Glenn, for this matter. I speak often with him. It's impossible to run all these tournaments and stuff, but but we need to look at what is right, what is wrong, and why. In my opinion, there are some redundancies. That's one thing. Another thing is Sue also mentioned in one of the initiatives is the initiative of coach education. I heard, but I don't know whether it's true, that about $250,000 was spent on this program, which is tons of money, and basically it's redundant. There are a lot of things that some money is spent, which is redundant as well. So I think we need to definitely look at the books and be more like more cautious about how we spend money. Now, the next we are going to the 4 years of Olympic cycle, right? So our term will begin with Olympic cycle, the beginning of the Olympic cycle, right after the Paris, and we need to kind of understand in what position the organization can come to the Olympic Games on our home turf, and think what we can do to make it stronger and better and more financially sound. But as a parent and as a coach, I can tell you that the fees are outrageous. I'm going to NEC, and I start with almost $1,000 for competition fees, and it's before flight as a parent, and it's before flight, hotel, food, transportation. So it's like you want to go to NEC, you shave $2,000, $2,500 just to start with. It's a lot of money. So we cannot obviously we cannot say that we can negotiate with Hilton, but maybe we can. But also, if we look at different places and not only to the cities, the fees spent on travel will also be reduced, because maybe the hotels will be not $250 per night, but $95 per night for the same Hilton. Maybe 95 is a bit cheap, but I mean, that's the idea. So these are 3 areas. First, look whether the whole stuff is needed. Second, whether all initiatives are right, and to review them, and by that reviewing all the books. And third, thinking what we can do to reduce the price of participation. And I'm not talking about price of membership, because it's one time. Price of participation is
Right.
Now,
right,
add
right.
to what you said, add to that all the costs that are coming, to a parent. There is going to be another membership for parents, parent membership. So that, if you need to take you're taking your child to a tournament, you need to be a member to be able to go in. So these are all the, they keep on adding costs to the parents' pockets.
I think right now the parents are getting the access membership in order to officially participate or getting to the tournament facilities. That was a policy that during the COVID, and that becomes a practice for many of the parents. Otherwise, I don't think there's a separate parent membership today, but access membership is definitely, most of our parents are getting.
The parent membership is not a thing yet. It's
Okay,
not out
so
yet.
it's a proposal. Okay, it's a proposal.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Work in progress, apparently.
In progress. Okay, all right. But I guess both of you just wanted to summarize. I think both of you touched about, reduce the bureaucracy of the organization, improve the financial efficiency, put that way, right? So select examine or review all the initiatives and you know and figure out a way to better spend money, right? That's really the things that you covered, both of you covered. So let me go on to the last pre-compiled question. If elected, what are the other initiatives you will take in addition to the items that I mentioned above? So Sue, you want to start again?
There are a few things that are basically my personal issues that I have been involved with for the past year. And one thing that I would like to look into, which I know that a lot of club owners and coaches are looking forward to this, is that if we can bring back the affiliate club membership for club owners. And basically club membership, there used to be an affiliate club which you would not pay as much the higher membership. It was like a fixed amount, and then with that we were just basically a member without any without any benefits. And then we would basically purchase our own liability insurance. Beginning of this season, they ended that program, so we all ended up basically having to pay full membership, which with that comes USA fencing insurance, but it's tied with, like, in order for me to use their insurance, I would have to have every single member in my club become USA fencing member. So if anyone falls and they find out that some 5-year-old did not have membership, then I don't have proper protection. One thing that I would like to look into, and I would like to, if possible, untie the insurance from the 100% membership. I would like to look into, like, hopefully provide a better liability insurance for clubs and coaches. These are the things that I would like to look at. Although when I was talking to Charles the other day, he mentioned something that is very interesting, which I think we should all look at it. If not me, Igor, or any other candidates that are getting in, we should all look at it, like providing health insurance for coaches. This was Charlie Wang's idea, and I was like, I consider myself a smart woman. Why did I not ever think of it? USA Fencing can do that for their members, and it has never been done. So I think these are good things to look into.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
it's I frankly don't think the governing body should provide health insurance for the coaches. I think it will be unheard of, and I don't think it's right, because at the end of the day, it's no. So it's but anyway, what I'm sorry, I just interrupted. It's kind of slipped my mouth. Did you finish, or it's?
I was done. Yes.
Okay, so I think first of all, I think in general, from perspective of voting, parents should not be required to become access members. I think parents already pay tons of money to USA Fencing. So once I think a fencer becomes to be engaged at regional competition level, or maybe starting from national competition level, parents should automatically be eligible to vote, as long as their child was a fencer from the beginning of the season at competitive level. I think they already paid tons of money. They already support USA fencing. I think that's that should be, because the way that this workaround works, we need to force parents to pay another $29. It's not right. So one of my proposals will be to make this thing, like if your child is competitive, you're entitled to her vote. If you have 5 children in competitive sport, you're entitled to 5 votes. Because, as long as a child competes at national level, that's when you become to be really acting with USA fencing. So that's one of the things. Second thing, and I experienced it firsthand for 2 years. I think the election process is not very democratic. And I give you example. I provided my candidacy for the election last year and this year, and nominating committee disagreed to promote me. First of all, I don't know why. There was no any transparency in this process, but the way that I see it is basically the candidate field was kind of filtered out to promote some candidates versus others. And effectively, in my opinion, the nominating committee took a democratic process out of hands of voters to their own hands. And I think it's incorrect, especially when there is and they put me and Andrei Geva and last year also Abdel in the process of petition. So we got on the ballot anyway, but I think it's the whole thing is very, very not democratic, which immediately kind of raise a red flag for me. So I think nominating committee must do 2 things: see that the documentation that is submitted is correct according to all the criteria and requirements, and second, check the background. If I'm a criminal, if I'm a sex abuser, whatever. If a candidate passed these things, the nominating committee should automatically nominate them and let the voters to decide. That's democratic. Have some process that is well defined and transparent, which is also fine. Let's say we have like primaries or whatever. But I was unhappy with the thing which kind of smells to me too much Politburo from my old Soviet days. We choose the ones that fit the bill, and it's the opposite. So that's thing, and I think we touched a lot on other things that we need to tackle, and I think I don't like everything we discussed before. Better organizations, improve rape risk others, improve de-escalations processes, increase NCA, improve longevity of fencing, international fencing approach, unnecessary policies and politicization and procedures, better financial control. These things are part of what I believe we should do. That's basically it.
I have a question. This is Charlie Wayne. I agree with Igor that the parents are paying for these sports, and when we have minor children who cannot vote, then we as the legal guardian should automatically have the vote, as Jeffrey said, right? And also, too, thank you for remembering that I mentioned the insurance idea. In my previous life, I was a partner at a big law in New York, one of my primary clientele was large insurance companies. I know this can be done. A lot of coaches, referees, they're not citizens, they're not permanent residents. They cannot benefit from HMO or any other insurance. They cannot afford to buy a private insurance. But as a group, USFA has the power and the resource to negotiate with insurance company to provide insurance, health insurance as an option, not as a mandatory requirement. But well, anyway, that will only become a topic if we have the right board member elected. Now, I have a more pressing issue I just learned. I will give you guys a rundown before I ask the question. Because if this thing is happening, if we let it happen, this will be the last election. And this will be the last time all the members will have any say in USA fencing. I don't know whether you guys noticed that two board members proposed very disturbing amendments to the bylaw at the last minute. They are going to vote on May 18th, a few days from now. One amendment is the motion is introduced, filed by the current acting chairman, interim chairman, David Arias, to reduce the independent director to 2 and increase at-large director to 6. And another amendment is introduced by a athlete director, DeLucas. DeLucas wanted to elect chairman of the board from all directors, including independent directors and athlete directors. Put aside the independent directors, by definition, they have nothing to do with fencing. They don't. How could they formulate and lead the board to formulate policy strategies for this sport to be more successful, both domestically and internationally? And the athletic directors, they are the rising star in terms of management. They are already stars in the sports. Most of them will focus on competing internationally. Will they have the time and energy to lead the board? That's question one. Secondly, will they have already accumulated enough experience to take the chairman's position? So those are all the questions, but my focus is not those questions. Being a lawyer for more than 25 years and also advise many Fortune 500 companies on corporate governance, when I see amendment like this, I do my own devil's advocate. So let's say, hypothetically, I'm already in charge. I'm already, running de facto. Factually, I'm running the whole board. I don't want to lose power because I know you guys are going to elect your board members, right? What if the new board members disagree with me? I lose control. Suppose, hypothetically again, okay, after this amendment become effective after May 18th, let's say one of the current independent directors who could be my best buddy resign. Then under the new bylaw, perfect. Now we only need 2 independent directors. Okay, that resigned the vacancy become a at-large board member vacancy. And in a vacancy like this, they do not need to fill the vacancy by another general election. They can just elect one. The nominating committee can appoint anyone, and the current board, the outgoing board, right? The current board by August 31st, the terms are up, right? They can vote the one person into the vacancy without any election, one person. Let's say, the person who did a lot at the early days to set up USA fencing, Mr. Donald Opsey, get appointed as an at-large director. Now, let's play a little bit the scenario, because this at-large director is newly created, additional one in addition to the 5, right? So this person will have the same term as the newly elected director, 4 years. Okay, Mr. Alberston will become an at-large director for another 4 years, right? And in September the 1st, the athletic council were already appointed 4 athletic directors, supposedly all approved by Mr. Alberston. Then the board will consist of only 9. The independents are gone, right? 4 athletic directors selected by Mr. Alberston, and the 5 at-large directors. Then if Mr. Alberston votes for himself, and the 4 athletic directors chosen by him also vote for him to be the chairman, then Mr. Alberston, without any election, becomes the chairman of the board. Then he can nominate the 2 independent directors, which hypothetically are also his best friend. Then he will have 7 votes. Does this election mean anything anymore? Does any future election will mean anything anymore? So if the amendment like this, the last minute amendment of the bylaw is, get passed, why do we bother to do any election? Basically, whoever controls will forever in control, like Putin in Russia, right? Forever president. So my question to you two, Sue and Igor, are you for or against the last minute amendment to the bylaw, which will be put in the voting in May 18th?
So I'm not a board member, but I think for me, there is, and I think it was a similar thing last year, but I'm not sure. For me, it's very clear. When there are elections, no bylaws changes should be done in any way, even if it's the most minor one to fix spelling. Bylaws should not be touched by existing board. Bylaws should
the outgoing board.
By outgoing board, yes. Bylaws should be, and the only if they want to put motion, in my opinion, the only motion is suggest that a new board is to review these ideas, to review this, but no bylaws changes should be allowed to be done by outgoing board. And I think one of the things that we need to include in bylaws is this clause. So in future we can prevent this as well, even with current board that will be elected among these 7 people. Because
I agree with
it's a very interesting farewell gift that the going board can present, and it's not as I said, this is not democratic process. This is a kind of thing that we definitely need to prevent. But I'm not aware. Up until you started to speak to talk about this, I was not aware about this. So I'm not aware about any of this.
I can, Igor, I can send both Sue and Igor, I can send you the link.
that would be great.
Yeah, I will send
Yes.
you both the link. You'll see the amendment. Okay.
Thank
Sue,
you very
go,
much.
yeah,
But I agree with Igor on this.
I have a follow-up question. Okay, this is really very urgent. The current bylaw says any amendment bylaw need the words very carefully. No less than 2/3 of board member approve. So now currently there are 12 board members. So if they have 8 approve, then it's approved, right? The motion was proposed by one of the athletic directors. We all know all the athletic directors usually they vote in unison as one person. That's 4 votes. The 3 independent directors, they're outgoing. I think they're well, because they're all Mr. Epstein's friend, right? They will vote. That's 7 votes. And one of the amendment was proposed by the current interim chairman, David Arias. He will vote. They already have 8 votes. So by counting the votes, they will pass. What will you do to influence the athletic directors? This amendment, I don't think has anything to do for with athletic directors to be the chairman. I don't think there's anything to do with an independent director to be the chairman, right? My guess, I'm saying, it's just my personal guess. I think this is specifically designed for a so-called non-voting member, Mr. Donald Epstein, to regain the entire control, the total control of the board without any members' participation. How would you reach out to every independent, at-large, and athletic director to voice your opposition? What would you do?
I don't know. It's I'm not in position currently to say what I will do, because first of all, I'm not familiar with this matter, other than what you voiced now. And I don't want to say anything right now that I'm not very educated, or actually educated at all on this matter. Second, if the board meeting will happen on May 18, which is 5 days, I think we just need to do first of all learn and to reach to every board member, not only athlete director, and discuss this issue and discuss it more like on different platforms and things. So I'm not so I don't know how to reach it yet, but I think if indeed this will happen within 5 days, and this motion is going to happen, I think. And today is it's 4 days, because it's all the end of 13.
Yeah,
So,
it's an ambush. Igor, it's an ambush. Let me tell you this. Now I saw the only board member publicly opposed it is Damien. I think Damien is an experienced coach. We do not always agree with each other on issues, but he is very keen about this kind of amendment. He put no to all those amendments I just mentioned publicly. I will also forward that to you.
well, my huge respect to him for this, because it's anti-democratic in every sense of it. I told you, it smells to me like Politburo.
Yeah.
Igor, you know, I want to tell you why I have such suspicion. I have been doing mergers and acquisitions in my legal career. This is exactly the trick in a takeover war, when the establishment, when the people in power, they will play exactly the same trick. Amend the bylaw, make any takeover of the power impossible. It's to non-lawyers, maybe this some kind of too much a conspiracy theory. I have seen enough. I did so many hostile takeover legal battles. This is the most common way to protect establishment. So I'm sorry, I heard you were saying something.
No, this is very concerning. I think you know, I need to look into it and also talk to a few people that I know and you know, to learn more about it. This is very concerning.
Yeah.
There are little things that, like, you know, like Igor was mentioning about the nominating committee, and you know, but that you would think, like, you know, Phil Andrews is part of the nominating committee, who basically like gets to choose who gets to run for the board. So these are little things that are concerning and need to be changed. But now this is basically is planning a coup.
Yeah,
It's a
Taking over.
fundamental change of corporate governance. Compare this to nominating committee and how they play with that. Nominating committee is like a kindergarten stuff.
Yeah.
This is
Right.
professional.
Yeah, that's this is, yeah,
I know.
Mr.
I just throw this question. None of you probably ever envisioned this would happen. I was surprised. I said, wow, people are deploy anti-takeover corporate maneuver to a board election of a nonprofit organization. My jaw was dropping. It's like, you know, back 10, 15 years ago, I was doing all this kind of stuff, fighting against it. It's like a deja vu. It appeared at the NGB, like USFA, unbelievable.
Yeah, we are getting very deep in this USFA's internal politics, especially their governance, and you know, that means that how important the change needs to be. I mean, it requires, this organization has been grown by a handful of people for so many years. You know, the people who hold on the power never wanted to relinquish its power. Is even they know that vast majority of the community are opposing to the establishment, but they are playing the tricks and changing the bylaws and using the loophole in the bylaws and trying to, you know, steal or take away the voting power or the people's voice in this community. This is unethical and think extremely unethical, um, and I don't know whether it's illegal or on the legal side, but this is something that it's a very heavy weight. This is really a important thing that if we wanted to keep USA Fencing still a democratic organization, if we still wanted to be a true membership organization, we need to expose this and we need to let everyone knows about this. It's a very complicated maneuver, but we need to expose them to the public, and we need to let the community aware of this. We need to spread the message. We just learned this yesterday. I think this is going to be a huge blow while this election is taking place, and the people and small handful of people already are trying to play and assuming the election result is not going their way. I think this is a huge this is a very alarming to the community. I think I would say vast majority of the community members are not aware, could not even think of those things that in this NGB and the way they do things. I would encourage the people who are listening and you know, especially you two, the two candidates, and use your connections and voice your concerns in any channels you can, and protect our democracy, to protect this membership organization, because that if that can be done, if someone who's holding a power today is able to um, exploit the loopholes in the bylaw and making things go their way and all the time, then this organization has no future. So I think we wanted to be very serious about the issue. And while this election is still taking place, I know I mean, it cannot be all our endorsed candidates to be elected. That's a fact because we endorsed the 4 of you. Only 2 will be elected. But nevertheless, I believe that all 4 of you are in line with our ideology, are in line with the democratic principle that this community wants, are in line with what the communities truly want the USA fencing to be. So and I explore you guys that even though you or any one of the board candidates today, the 4 of you, may or may not get elected this time, but still using your influence, using your connections, using your voice to unite people to broadcast the message about this incident. I think we're gonna publish something that tell everybody how this story is run because it's a very complicated maneuver. Um, you know, few people can understand this, especially the ones that who wanted to stay away from this dirty politics within USFA. But this is something that we have to do to make this whole election worthwhile, to make this organization truly a membership organization. So I think it's our duty. I think, to counter this effort, we all have to put down, certain differences that we may have. And, especially not everybody can be elected in this time, but we still wanted to, work together and fight against what they try to do. I hope that both of you agree with my comments, and I think it's important for us, the community, to understand that and be able to protect us.
Yes, I agree. Like, this is when I say that I am fighting, I have been told that I sound aggressive, but this is the steps that we're taking. My background, I come from Iran, and I have seen how things can go. The same as, Igor, you come from the Soviet, so you know how things start. And this is why I think why it's important to put a stop to what the current administration is doing. It's a shame. It's a shame that they're taking a democracy and they're taking it down.
Yeah. So I know that we are kind of diverted a little bit on the election topic, and but this is something that I think is very important. I would like to, I think Charlie would like to share with you guys and share with community the most recent development, because we just found out that yesterday and pretty late yesterday when the election started. So I know this may not be something you guys were expecting, and we have this conversation today. I think there are many things talk about in the comments and in the chat box that I see, but most of them are I would say most of the comments about what things should be done, right? So I hope you guys can read them, and the people's comments and on the things that you touched upon, and um, you know, uh, so I think people mentioned multiple items, that in this chat box regarding the transparency, equity and inclusion and belonging, and talk about the COVID injection mandate, if this is going to happen again, and and also the NCAA people, Jerry commented about promoting the high school fencing that, but I do see the difficulties because we talk to many NCAA coaches, and some of them are dedicated, spend their time 100% trying to promoting NCAA sports in college and universities. It's not an easy task. Absolutely, it's not an easy task. But it needs to have the community um, to all step in to help on this and make this a important topic so that we can have more college teams in the fencing teams in colleges. And let me see if there are other important comments I would like to mention. And people talking about, I think Jeffrey also agree that, if parents pay for the child membership to get it, then should automatically get a vote. I think it makes sense. And this is something that if the new board can come in established and the truly can represent our voice, then this could be something that being discussed and potentially become another motion. Then some comments talk about the AU insurance and all that. Let me turn off someone's. That's better. Okay. All right. And the AU insurances that I heard is so much better, and that's the feedback I received from multiple sources also that, and the USA fencing could work along with AAU. Why be exclusive right now? And we can work together. These two organizations should work together, while USA fencing focus more on the competitive sports of the fencing game, and especially 14 or older, and while AAU become a good organization to focus on amateur fencing, especially the young age fencing, it can potentially increase the popularity of the game and promote sports to a more grassroots level. And that I think will be a good idea. But again, all those things that can do only after a new board is established and can truly represent the voice of the community. So all those measures and will be just talking points if we don't get our people elected into the board. So I think that's the comments. This is my message to the community today, that we should all put our voice into the voting, and we all should vote. And I think the community knows who the list of the candidates we support, and each candidate may have its own strengths and weakness or different focus, and based on that, the community can make a decision. But we will, but this is something that I trust that whoever aligned with us in the big picture will be able to make a difference in the board, and as long as our voice, our representative can be there. And then we have to switch our, once our people, the extended community cast our votes, and we will have to work on this pressing issue on this bylaw change, and so we will try our best to prevent this from happening if possible in the next few days. So I guess that's my closing comments today. And Sue and Igor, if you wanted to add anything, please feel free to do so.
Thank you so much for having me and listening to me. Appreciate it. And yeah, I encourage everyone to vote. Let's use our power to voice our opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you again, Jason, for hosting. And let's vote. It's looks, especially now when Charlie brought such a disturbing news. I think it's more than ever important to vote,
Yes.
because we need to exercise our democratic power, and we need to do whatever we can to stop any takeover and bring democracy back to the processes and the organization.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you both coming, joining tonight, and thank you for the audience, and especially some active audience that have been constantly giving us comments and feedback, Patricia and other folks, and truly appreciate it. And we'll keep in touch. And have a good night tonight. And the voting starts already, and so we will reach out to all the members and all the communities and different groups, and we'll encourage everybody to vote. And of course, and we endorse our shortlist candidates, and hope two of you will make this difference. We'll make it USA fencing
Thank you.
good again. Thank you. All right,
Thank
have
you.
a good night,
Good night.
everybody. Thank you.